What does it feel like to be endorsed by Chance the Rapper?
Well, it feels awesome. So I had been a fan of Chance for a number of years just because of some of the things that he's done around the city. He's someone who doesn't just talk about what needs to happen, he actually puts the work in. So I had been a fan of his for a number of years, even though we hadn't met formally until pretty recently.
So how did you find out about Amara?
So I was working on actually a piece for this publication I work with called Chicago. I was working on like a piece on the entire mayoral election and working with a few writers on just doing research on the different candidates. And when I came across Amara's profile, what they had put together for me, she was in a lot of the same spaces with me in the No Cop Academy movement, working with Asada's Daughters, working with a lot of different organizers that I liked. And I was like, why can't we have an organizer, activist, you know, with some support behind them? So that's how I contacted Amara, and we hit it off really quickly.
So would you be in this race if it weren't for Chance, or was he
Definitely.
a bit?
Sorry.
Yeah. So this is actually not my first time running. I ran for the first time in 2015 in that election cycle. Okay. So this isn't my first time at the rodeo, so to speak. We had formally announced this year on August 28th. So that was when we formally were public about the campaign, and we'd been working for months before then. But yeah, we had been out and committed, so it was just a great way of connecting two people who have a vision for Chicago.
Yeah, I'm sure it's helping too, right?
It definitely helped.
Yeah, having the celebrity endorsement is always a good thing. Can it ever overshadow your message or who you are as a candidate?
Well, I think the thing that makes this a little bit different is that it's not just the celebrity. Chance is someone who, on the issues, has done some substantive things. And so a lot of times, yeah. And that's very important to me. The thing is about having a track record, the things that we talk about in Chicago, having an actual track record of working on those issues. So it extends beyond just the celebrity endorsement. And then we actually happen to have a lot of things that we agree on. So it's just been very easy to work together and to really push our vision and make it a reality.
Right. I don't want you to answer this, but who is Amara Enyia?
Wow. So Amara Enyia is a woman who takes risks, who is very committed to issues of equity, of justice, who believes that it is necessary to challenge the status quo in the interests of people, and who wants to share a vision, not just for what we can be, but getting people galvanized to actualize that vision for themselves, especially in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Now, your campaign has a very 2008, almost Obama grassroots feel. Is that sort of the mission and the goal? The idea?
Yes. I mean, one of the biggest things for us is that it's not enough to simply have a 30% voter turnout in an election. We are interested in tapping into the 70% of people who didn't even engage in the last election, because that's what's showing that people are committed and actually want to get involved in the process. So our campaign is very grassroots. We talk directly to people. We are engaged in communities. We'd like to
pull up the other day, right?
Pull up on 63rd and Cottage Grove the other day. We actually started our campaign running through neighborhoods. So every week,
running?
Literally running.
Oh.
And it was called,
you're in good shape. Are you a runner?
I am a runner.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And the whole idea is that we run the city, and it's the notion that you can really see Chicago's neighborhoods by running through its streets.
I like that. Okay, now let me ask you this. You got this one's endorsement. Would you want President Obama's endorsement?
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah, I would think. Well, guess what? I think I know somebody who knows him.
Oh.
That's her sense of humor.
Wink, wink.
Hello?
Yeah, I mean...
Wait, is he on your phone number? Can you, like, call him and tell him?
He got him on speed dial.
Yeah, I mean...
Wait,
really,
don't grab your phone. I'm not going to go for your phone.
Yeah, I just instantly had to secure it for a second. I think, like, it's a big deal. Like, I like the question you were asking about, like, endorsements overshadowing campaigns. I feel like in a lot of cases it can, because it becomes more of, like, a talk piece about money or about celebrity status over like the substance of the actual campaign. And what Amara has the most of is substance and real ideas, and really innovative ideas on how to change the economy of the South and West Side, of creating more facilities for mental health and veterans, and for people dealing with drug rehabilitation. And so what I like to do whenever we, and at the pull-up that we did and any of our past and future rallies that we do, is really like you know, just step back, just like close
let
my
her
mouth.
do her
Yeah,
thing.
because when she talks, people listen.
Yeah, and you were very vocal during the Laquan McDonald shooting, during the case. If you are mayor, is Eddie Johnson your superintendent?
Well, I mean, I think that what we've talked about and what I've talked about a lot is that it requires a change in culture, and a change in culture requires, in many instances, changing the people in an institution. And so what we have to do is we have to set forth a vision of what a police department that operates with transparency, with integrity, that is not resistant to reforms that are actually in the interest of the public, and get people on board that actually and find the people that believe in that vision and that are willing to commit to that vision. When you change the culture of an institution, it actually attracts a different kind of person. And we have seen, because of so many of the issues that we've had with our police department, that we have to attract a different kind of person that believes in making this institution the best that it can be for the city.
Do you think Eddie Johnson is doing a good job?
I think he's doing what he can. I mean, this is a very difficult situation. Violence in the city has been a challenge for many, many years. And so I always try to give the benefit of the doubt that those who are working in public service are at least trying to do their best.
Right. If you had to give a letter grade to our current mayor, what would it be?
Well, so I would say definitely below average, way below average. The last, I would say, couple of months, there's been this flurry of different things all of a sudden, that we're putting money in these businesses on the South and West Side. We're launching this program. We're reopening a Department of Housing. These are things that we had been calling for the last 8 years. And it should not have taken that much time to finally get some of these concessions. And so I wish that a lot of the things that came up at the end of his term had been done at the beginning of his term. We could have perhaps had a different outcome.
If elected, what's the first thing you want to do when you get into office?
Well, so Chicago has so many challenges that unfortunately we can't just do one thing. There are about 4 big issues that need to be tackled that I would want to start immediately. One being the city's economy, making sure that our city is healthy fiscally, addressing the issue of employment and what creates a growth economy. 2 is our education system. We have to put in necessary reforms that ensure that every child has access to a high quality education.
Okay.
You look at the race right now, a lot of people in the race, but a lot of heavyweights in the race too. Bill Daley, we mentioned Tony Preckwinkle, the money we're seeing being raised in the governor's race. We know that it is a money game too. Are you able to raise the funds that you need to raise to win this thing?
Yes. The beauty of it is that our campaign attracts people who would work for this campaign whether they were getting paid or not. And that is very unique.
Yeah.
We actually have people that believe so much in the vision that they are giving their time and their talents. And that is priceless to me. And because of our vision, we are attracting people who now say this is something that we want to invest financially in. So we will be able to raise the money necessary to run an effective campaign that will lead us to victory.
What's your biggest fear during this race?
I don't think that there's fear for me. What I want to see happen is that there's no fear in the city of doing something different, of actually challenging the city.
Yeah, fearless right here for sure.
Now, I know this is her time, this is Amara's time, but a lot of people thought your announcement was that you were going to run for mayor. In the future, could we ever see that?
No.
No.
If we do it right, my understanding is that the city has immense challenges that aren't all going to be fixed in the next 4 years. And if we want to sustain some of the things that we put in place that are helpful, we're going to need longer than 4 years. So I think if we do this right and Amara gets the space to really, as we say, cook when she get in there, she'll be there for a long time. And I believe that, I have a lot of vision, but I'm not necessarily the person that is best for the job. I can advise, I can promote, I can, like I said, share my vision, but I don't necessarily think that I'm built for the seat. But I'll help pull the chair out, you know what I mean?
Right. That's a good point in terms of being built for the seat, because people are so critical of whoever is in that position. Some people are, you know, the former mayor, Daley, Rahm Emanuel.
Sure.
People are going to be critical of you, but Chance says you're built for it. I mean, do you really like, oh, this
I know,
race?
it's like, do you want to know,
Yeah,
right?
do you
Be
really
careful what
want
you're
I mean,
saying.
you have to have some tough, thick skin because everybody can't be happy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are going to be people who are going to criticize you and always have something to say. How do you deal with that?
Well, when you have a conviction about a thing, that conviction allows you to weather those kinds of storms. I think coming into this completely selflessly, because of what needs to happen in the city, it's a sense of responsibility that this isn't about me. This is about what is in the best interest of the city of Chicago. And so you walk in knowing that in public service, you're exposing yourself to criticism.
Right.
But the motive is pure. And the conviction for me means that it's worth all of the criticism to try to do the best that I can and to help the city to try to be the best that we can be.
Before we let you go, who's the biggest roadblock? Who's the candidate that you look at and you say, that's the candidate? We gotta.
Can I answer that? I'm
Sure.
sorry.
Go ahead, Chance.
It ain't no roadblocks. Like, we're not worried about other people or expectations or anything like that. The biggest thing that's going on for us right now is because we are a grassroots campaign, because we're not accepting big corporate dollars, we are out on foot collecting signatures for petitions to get on the ballot. Because as many, very important people that we have, volunteers, activists that are helping us out, there's a logical part of this, like a very, just infrastructure-based way to get on the ballot, and part of it is that we need the signatures. So our biggest roadblock, I would say right now, is us being on foot and trying to get even more volunteers to help us by being on foot and collecting these signatures. We're not worried about the other people on the ballot because they're not on the ballot yet, but we are getting them SIGs.
Yeah.
How many do you have already?
I don't know.
Yeah, so it changes by the day. We have teams out essentially every single day collecting signatures. And so we have our goal, and our plan is to make sure that we hit our target and surpass it.
So when you're on those runs, slow down and get those signatures as you're running. Are you going to run the marathon next year?
I probably will.
Have we ever had a mayor run a marathon?
I'm not sure.
We'll have to
Yeah,
look into
I
that because
probably
if elected, you could be.
Yes.
I'll check my
I've
facts.
run Chicago's marathon many a time. Just
Well,
not
I
this
have
year because
not,
I had
and
to
I'm
collect
running it this year. Maybe you can run with me.
Yeah.
Or I'll run with you.
The marathon mayor. All right.
Yeah.
Amara, good luck to you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Chance,
much.
always great seeing you, man.
Yo, thank you, man.